Hello, good evening, wherever you are. Look, again, Healers United Global Summit, and today we are going to be interviewing our precious co-host, Ginny Jones. My name is Heather Alice Drake, and of course we have this wonderful woman aboard, Glyn Ray Hammond. Welcome, welcome, everybody.
Thank you very much, and namaste, ladies.
So thank you. This interview of Ginny has been days of anticipation. I've been wanting to get my hands on her for such a long time now. So Ginny is, again, she's a quirky, she's not boxed in, she's forever flowing into who she is, and she too sees beyond. Doesn't fit the normal criteria of what everybody thinks that we should be in as a healer and all those wonderful things. So I'm just looking at her bio now. She's very intuitive. She sees on all levels, beyond, and she helps people all over the world internationally, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. As a young girl, she has been a medical intuitive. As a young girl, she has experienced, and possibly I could imagine she's given her parents grief with her giftings. So Ginny has begun her journey right from a little one. So I'm going to pass this over to Glyn and to Ginny. Ginny, this is your very first question. Tell us and tell the viewers about you being this beautiful young girl and, of course, the giftings that you were born into, that you came into.
Okay, thank you. Well, I was born at home on a Sunday, funnily enough. I mean, I don't know whether that's anything or not, but anyway, I was born on a Sunday and I was born at home, and I was born in Hampshire in the UK, right on the border of Wiltshire. And I don't know whether this is my star connection or what, but very, very near where all the crop circles and all that are placed there. So very, very near all that sort of stuff. And very, very near the energetic places like Stonehenge and the other places like that there. So, and as a child, I did give my parents grief, and not in a nasty way, but I've always sensed energy. I've always sensed spirit. And because being young and having no concept of what it was I was feeling or sensing, I was frightened stiff. And I'm sure there's many others have been the same as well that may be watching this right now. I can remember in one place we lived, which was actually a chicken farm, because my dad was a chicken farmer, and we lived on this chicken farm. But in the war, it was an old aerodrome, and it was used to transport planes and soldiers and everything like that. And there was an air raid shelter and all that sort of stuff there. Well, that house we lived in there, I was picking up all sorts of vibrational frequencies and energies, and feeling people in my room at night and all sorts of other stuff like that. And I can remember lying in bed, awake, absolutely petrified, knowing my safety of my parents were in the other room, and thinking, oh no, there's someone in my room, and I can't see them because I could never see them at that age with my physical eyes, but I just knew they was there. And I used to shout to my parents, Mom, this was on nearly a nightly basis, so I must have driven them nuts. Mom, Mom, and I keep going until they woke up, and then my mum would go, it's your imagination, go back to sleep. And eventually, of course, I'd keep on, because by that time I'm like petrified and the sheets were up around the top of my head. And eventually my mum would say, oh, come on in here then. So I'd just make a run for it. And then I'd feel safe then in between my mum and dad. I was always a shy, probably introverted child when it comes to mixing with other people. My friends were animals, nature. I seem to get on and feel more at home and safe, I'm going to say, at that age, because I didn't understand everything, with the animal kingdom and in being in nature and playing with my imagination and learning to feel and create things in my own mind, if you like. So I was quite an introverted, shy child, and I actually found it hard to mix with other people. I was forced into that situation because we changed schools a lot, because we moved around a lot. Even had 2.5 years in Australia when I was little.
Oh, Ginny, you sound so much like my life story back then. And to be born where you were, I have been to that area. Is that anywhere near the White Horse too, that's on the hill?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I stayed in the White Horse Inn, and I never slept a wink. And it was incredible what I was seeing and feeling. So, you really were born into a high energetic area for sure. Yeah, and you would have been aware of the UFOs and everything, even though you couldn't see them. But the presence around, absolutely,
definitely, and I'm sure that's had a huge part to play in where I've come today. And when I look back at my life, I realise that everything that has happened to me, and I've had some nasty things happen throughout my lifetime, which I'm not going to go into. Everything that's happened to me has happened to me for a reason, and I can see it now when I look back. It's helped me learn about me, if you know what I mean. Everything that happened to me helped me learn about me and who I was.
Absolutely.
And who I am. Yeah. I've also when we moved away from there and we travelled around a bit, we then once we moved to Dorset, we lived, and Dorset, like most places in the UK, are steeped in Roman history and obviously timelines and timelines of layers and layers of history. And I used to sense a lot of stuff. I can remember being in the forest, which is one of my playgrounds when I was little. And certainly there was a road called the Roman Road in the forest. And that was where a lot of the Roman people used to travel backwards and forwards. And I can remember standing there one day and hearing marching soldiers. Yeah. And because I couldn't see them, I'm like, what's this? What am I hearing? And I can hear this, and it just like marching soldiers going past. Scared me to death, of course, at the time. So I had to go and sit and hug my favourite tree.
Well, the veil is so thin in some of those places, isn't it? It really is. Yeah. Fascinating. So when did you start your spiritual journey? Did you do any did you go anywhere to learn or have any workshops or things like that you attended? Or
I have always been interested in energy. You know, when I reached teenage years, it was all to do with ghosts and spooky stories and horror films and all that sort of stuff. I was always interested in all that. Witches. As a child, it would be fairies, mermaids, all the mystical creatures. I wasn't interested in the human-y stuff, if you like. I was always interested in the other world stuff. So I've always been interested in that. And I remember going to a circle when I was about 21. And years before that, me and my friends used to go off ghost hunting and things like that, we used to call it. And we'd go to a nightclub, have a really good night in a nightclub, and then we'd all pile in someone's car and go off ghost hunting in some haunted place about 3 o'clock in the morning, just, to frighten ourselves and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was about 21, I joined a circle, and I realised I wasn't quite ready at that time. And then, of course, life moved on. I met John and we had kids, and I certainly had experiences happen to me as I was doing the normal family stuff. Things like getting up in the middle of the night and all the cupboards would be open. The radio would be going, you know, spirit activity in houses and things. But to be honest, my fully stepping into where I'm now, and I know I was brought here was when I came to New Zealand. Because we were actually going to go to Canada, and we were doing all the paperwork for Canada, and that fell through because 9/11 happened, and John's an aircraft engineer, and all the jobs just completely folded. So that was the stepping stone of us realizing that we wanted to leave the UK, and we knew that was a journey out there somewhere, but wasn't sure where, because we thought it was Canada. And then about a year after that, John heard about a job going for Air New Zealand. And we'd already kind of made up our minds that we needed to move, we needed to make the shift. And it's an adventure, you know, making these big life choices is an adventure. And if you just stay doing the same old thing, you don't expand and grow. So we both had the urge to do this and grow and learn as we did it. And anyway, we came to New Zealand. And everything from the start, the moment we said, right, yes, we're coming to New Zealand, everything just went bang, 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 slotted into place all the way along, including to the point of selling our house, finding somewhere to rent that was furnished, that would take animals, then flying over here, staying in a hotel for a week, finding a place again that was furnished and would take animals, because we brought our animals with us because they're part of our family. I would never leave them.
Yes.
Everything just slotted totally into place. And then when we moved to Beachlands, we've been in Auckland City for about a year and a half, and it was a case of settling in and everything else. And when we moved to Beachlands, which is where we are now, I slowly had this picking away in the back of my mind. And I know it was God, I know it was Source, I know it was my spirit team. Find a group. And it was like constant. Anyway, a set of circumstances happened, and I managed to find a group. And that was my proper, I would say, stepping into my spiritual knowings start. And it was here in New Zealand, which was 10 and a half years ago.
It's wonderful, isn't it, the way when we open ourselves to the guidance and allow it to happen, even though it gets really scary, you know, shifting from one side of the world to the other. You follow that knowing. We did that when we went to Hong Kong, had no idea, and 12 years in Hong Kong broke my heart to come back here. And the experiences that you gain and the people you meet all around the world, it's amazing. So
from there, Ginny, you went into a lot of teachings and you did a lot of study because you are a professional. You're a professional counsellor, coach, medical intuitive. You in mediumship. You combine everything that you are, that you've taken ever since you were a little girl, and you've put it together, but you've trained well. You did intensive training. I mean, I had you for a long time. But you trained when you get your teeth into something and into training. What I love about you, Ginny, isn't it, Glenn? You're not willy-nilly.
No.
You are a pro at what you do. You have integrity, you have honour, you have respect, you bring a class of standard of understanding the spiritual realm, understanding a wealth of knowledge with that, a wealth of understanding and knowledge in ley lines, a wealth and understanding and knowledge, the best teachers, everything that you could, in a package, you've got it. but yet that package is never ending. You're continuously working on yourself, because we have this motto: a healed, heal, hurt, hurt. You're forever cleaning. You're a little bit like me. You're out there in the ethers, and I'm buzzing and tingling because I've been waiting for this day to show the world Ginny Jones. Glenn, have you got any questions for this young one? Well, she's not really young.
No, she's not really young. Okay, Ginny, can you give us a little bit of insight then into what your work entails now? I know you do clearing of negative energies, or ghost busting, I think, is it you call it? Or and that sort of thing as well, along with your healing and in the many things that Heather just spoke of. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your work and how you go about it?
Certainly. I mainly do one-on-ones, but I do, a bit like Heather, I do go out there and I do mass healings for land as well as humanity or groups, depending on where it's needed in the world. Mm-hmm. When I do a one-on-one, again, I have a certain set of things that I follow. Like when I set the scene. If someone's come to see me, they come into my healing room and I set the scene. I have music playing and I have a beautiful warm environment and I have comfortable things around. I have crystals and I have loads and loads of different things around. That is to make the person feel comfortable. And when they come in, I greet them with a hug, a smile, a conversation to make them feel relaxed, because sometimes people aren't used to it. If it's their first time in having a healing energy session or whatever, they have no idea what to expect. So the most important thing is making that person feel relaxed, at ease within themselves and in the environment that they've stepped into, which for some is quite strange. And then, a bit like Heather, whatever needs to be done, I will go into. And this could be, it could be a reading. I might be guided to actually do a reading for someone. I always, if I'm doing a healing session, I will get them to lie down. I go with pure guidance. It's like I always say, everyone knows me, who knows I say this, and I don't have rules. I don't do boxes. I have learnt masses of modalities of healing therapies and other stuff, and I take and use whatever I feel is right at the time for that person and more, because Spirit are guiding me the whole time. They give me pictures in my mind. Sometimes I hear voices of what to do, and it could entail past life stuff, and I get shown a video of them in a past life, or something that needs healing that's in a past life. I get shown what it is. I often am doing inner child work, and again I go in to the child that's within, and I get shown age groups. I get shown, and I feel the feeling of what that child felt at the time, and I feel it. So then I can interpret what I'm feeling, and I get shown sometimes the circumstances of what's happening at the time, whether it's parents arguing or something more going on. I get shown it, and then we heal that moment and forward. And then we step forward, because there's, in anyone's childhood, there's more than just one thing. And then I get another age group that comes up. So I might get, say, 3 or 4, then I might jump to 7. We heal. I get shown everything. And we might jump to teenage years, and I jump, we heal that. And then it goes on through adult. And I write this all down, and I speak to the person about it afterwards. And then they always go, oh, yes, that's the age group. Yes, that happened to me at that age group. Oh, my God, yes, and it's clarification. for them and myself that the healing has taken place. I do soul rescue, because quite often what I'm finding with people is, because I check chakras out and I check energy fields out on people, and quite often I find that there is either some energy that needs to be lifted, that perhaps it could be coming from someone else. I don't really go into where it's come from. I just know it's on that person and it needs to be lifted off. And then their chakras free up. Sometimes there is an earthbound spirit which has attached to this person. I don't really go into why it's attached or why they have attached. I know that because spirit always see ahead of us as humans. They see way ahead of us. So I know even the earthbound spirits do. So I know that they would have known that that person was coming to see me, so they need help. They need love and they need help, and they need help to be passed over. So I do that also. I actually talk to the spirit person. I tune into them. I talk to them. And I coax them to go towards the light. And honestly, it is the most beautiful, beautiful moment when you can see in your mind's eye their energy just go up. It's beautiful. And then the person that's having the healing session, more often than not, completely clears them in that just one moment, as you would say, Heather, click of the fingers, the breath. Yeah. So I do. Sometimes I have to travel back in time, and sometimes I have to travel forward in time when I'm tuning into a person. And sometimes it's in parallel dimensions. I just go wherever my team, as I call them, guide me to go, because I do have a strong sense of them being with me. And this goes throughout my life as well, let alone when I'm healing someone. I also do activations, and they came about through, I get on my own healing table regularly because I just like that space, and I ask Spirit to come in and give me a healing. I haven't actually done it for a while because we're trying to sell the house. But anyway, I get on there, and then at times with these activations that I offer, Spirit have actually done it on me. They have showed me exactly what they're doing in my imagination, and I felt it in the body. And I know that whenever they do something like this on me, it is my cue to get out there and start doing it on other people. So that's hence why the activations have come about, because people need help, guidance, guiding in finding out who they are and finding their own inner power. That's what these activations are actually all about, is actually nurturing that person to find their own inner power, their own strength, their own connection to Spirit. It's about them. It's not about me. It's Spirit. I'm the conduit. Spirit are actually working through me on that person. And you know what? Sometimes in my mind's eye, I can see Spirit actually in my healing room working on that person, and I'm stood back. Sometimes they say to me, right, stand back and let us, get in there. And I see them working on the person. And ETs as well. I work with ET energy. I can sometimes see ET people working on that person, adjusting the frequency. I also do sound healing, which I call it cell singing, and I know that Heather's heard it on that weekend when we were in nature. It makes nature stop and listen. It makes animals stop and listen, and it's singing a frequency that comes from within me somewhere, and it is light language. I don't know what it means, but when I sing it, I see light cones coming down into the person. That's what I see when I'm doing that over a person. When I'm doing it out in nature, I can actually feel like a massive frequency ball go right the way out, massively distant, and then come back around in. And it's like that piece of energy, that piece of land has been completely cleared.
That's
so
awesome. Yep,
sorry.
that's awesome, Ginny. I love the way you perceive things, and the way you allow your that healing to take place. You would have noticed too over the years, perhaps, that there's so many different modalities out there, and people will stick strictly to a particular procedure, and that's it has been always to me, that's not what it's all about, because my beautiful rainbow band, I call them, have always shown me everybody is so different. Every soul is different, and we don't know someone else's timeline, where they've come from or what's involved. And every healing is different, whether it be just sitting talking with someone, putting your hands on them, giving them a hug, or whatever it be. And it's allowing and letting it. And it's also very beautiful. And it's beautiful, that you are so open and working in this way completely. And that is really, really great.
Thank you. I truly, truly love my work. And I know it's why I'm here. Yeah. I actually do say to Spirit, if you allow me to win the lotto or something like that, so I've got enough money to live comfortably and be able to do the things I want to do and live in a way that I'd like to live, I would do all my work for free, all of it.
Yeah, yes.
But unfortunately, I can't do that. I do a lot of free work, more than I'd probably like to be honest.
You know, what I love about you, Ginny, is as you were talking and I was listening to your passion of humanity and what sparks you in life. It's that God spark, that God force again.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. You know, I just want to touch on the summit just here for a moment, because we are on the Healers United Global Summit, Healers coming together. You've been a huge part of this summit. You have been the intercessor, the backbone, the one in the foreground, and prayers, and that's big work in the spiritual realm, because I know that you've always been there. And of course, the support of Glyn, especially, how's it going? Just that, how's it going? This is how cities are built.
Yeah.
And I'm forever like the intercessory. That's our giftings is intercessory. It's not a religion. It's just basically that's what our gifting. Intercessor. We both hold that intercessor. So does Glyn. Discernment.
Yeah.
Compassion.
Yeah.
Healing.
Yeah.
And along comes that is the gift to healing. But when you put the whole lot of gifts together, wow, just that one person, where there's one or two, I am there. That's how you support people. So deeply thank you for being here on planet Earth. I want to welcome you to planet Earth.
Thank you.
Don't we, Ginny? I mean, Glyn, just sharing with us, because I didn't know that very beginning of the story, anyone can think how you got here, but you chose to be here. You came here on a mission.
Yeah.
And I want to say job well done. And
Thank you.
You hold this wow. It's very rare. You hold this sacredness, a holiness, a respect for the spiritual realm, a respect for another human being, a respect for your fellow sisters and brothers. You hold a respect for the animals, the animal kingdom, the trees, the whales. And this is very, very, you are a rare gem. But now, through what we've done with the summit, you are now stepping out because now you are being known and who you are. And it's like all the years, and even with Glyn here today, she's the mother of mothers. She's the mother of a lot of mothers, actually, because she too is exactly like us.
Yeah.
And she's taught us. And we've had the world's, the universe best teachers.
Yes.
And now it's our everyday life. This is our life.
It is.
Yes.
Absolutely. I live this all the time.
Yes. And Ginny, I think now you've got this beautiful camper van, Dorchester, isn't it? Yes, the Dorchester.
Yes.
And I've loved your little videos that you've started doing, and it's really nice because you feel the energy around you, and I think they're really going to just do a lot. As you start, you're aware of the energies in that now, but I think more things will start developing at different places, and even people you meet, odd little people, and sharing a coffee and hearing someone else's viewpoint, or meeting some tree huggers and things like this. And there's I don't know, but we're finding that so many people who also contact Nikki and that too, they're liking the simple things, getting back to simplicity in life. Life became too complicated, I think, and in the simplicity, they're coming back to hand on the heart, taking that breath and feeling the truth of themselves. And yes, and with someone beautiful like you going around the country in this beautiful van now, and your lovely John, wherever you go, light is going with you. And it's expanding to go down the road, and that just by, look at that beautiful tree. Isn't that lovely? I've got so many friends along the way, or trees that is, and I go, hello, as I go past. I don't know what the people behind me think, but I don't care. It's, so it's good to have you out there on our roads.
And you hold this respect for others.
I do, and I've always had that. And if I say that I'm going to do something, I try my hardest to actually follow through with whatever it is I say, because when we're in this position, and I want to say that actually what we do is natural and everyone can do it. It's only working on yourself and finding out who you really are and releasing the chains and bonds of other stuff. You will find that everyone can do what we do, everyone. But I do have a respect for people, and I know that people rely on us to follow through with whatever we say that we're going to do. So I do have a very strong sense of that, and a strong sense of responsibility in what I do as well, because it is a responsible thing what we're doing. We're dealing with people on such a personal, and it's not just personal in the human form, it's personal right back to the spark of the soul form. So it's so important to be in alignment yourself to be able to do this work. That's why, like you said, Heather, I'm constantly working on myself. If I feel that something's not quite right within me at the time, I will go in and I'll see what it is and what I feel that's going on. I'll do a clearing on myself if I have to. Whatever it takes for me to come back into that alignment.
What I love about this too is the fact that both you and I struggled, well, many of us struggled with the media thing.
Yeah.
How do we get ourselves out there? Come on, we have to do this and we have to do these stages and this group and this. Well, actually, leave it up to those ones. Just let us be ourselves. like exactly what Glenn was saying. You know, we've seen these little wee clips of YouTube and all that. And I know that you and I are starting our TV program, which we've attempted twice, but that begins next week by just tuning up for that hour each week.
Yeah.
But we're doing it. We're doing it our way.
Yeah.
And truly, it works our way because we're being ourselves.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
There's no ego involved or judgment. And that is what is very, very much out there at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm all for doing things naturally as well, you know, because everything is natural. It's like you said, Glenn, simplicity. Why complicate things? Let's just sit down over a cup of tea and chat. And whatever it is we talk about, someone out there will be listening and thinking, oh my God, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, that was interesting. You know, and whatever else comes. Natural.
Absolutely.
So it seems like we're going to have Glenn on our TV show, whether she knows it or not.
Oh, I didn't know.
That would be awesome, Glenn.
Yeah.
Look, I want to say thank you deeply. Have you got any last parting words?
Well, my last parting words are, for anyone listening, what helped me open up along my journey, which I didn't actually mention, is actually being creative. Being the creative soul, allowing your creativity in no matter what way it comes out, whether it's through cooking, painting, drawing, gardening, designing something, whatever it is, that creative flow is what helps open the channels to the spirit, to your soul. Because each time you create something and you get that feel-good, wow, that's awesome factor, that's almost like a piece of the shell breaking away each time. And then the internal soul and the internal light shining out that little bit more each time that you feel good, whether it's through just doing something joyful. Make sure, everyone who's listening, do something joyful in your life. Do things that bring you joy, that give you that spark of passion. No matter what it is for you. It's a personal thing.
Job well done.
Job well done. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you, Ginny, and
you too, Glenn.
Oops, she just froze just for a moment.
I think, have I frozen?
No, you're fine.
No, you're all right now.
Oh, okay. Yes, and I think we could share. And I think the big thing for people out there is to stop fearing the divine plan that's playing out now so beautifully. You know,
oops, she's breaking up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There seems to be so much darkness out there, but when you look around and what's happening underneath, there's all sorts of beautiful snippets, even on the news coming through, of wonderful things happening, of connections being made, and there's a tremendous lot coming up. The silence, the beauty, the light. It doesn't have to go out there, you know, shooting, banging, creating, you know, look, here I am. It just works steadily and beautifully, and it's rising and rising. And that's the thing. We're so looked after, we're so blessed, and we're all so loved.
So thank you. So on that note, thank you from Ginny, myself, and Glenn. Thank you.
Love you all.
Thank you. Thank you.